Then that all becomes again on the tail of the cloud.
Hey Rashida, it's Travis.
Hi, Travis.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Hey, thank you so much for joining us by Zoom tonight. I'm gonna ask you to both make sure you're muted and that your camera is off until Jackie calls on you for your award.
Okay.
Okay?
So does that mean like I hit stop video?
Yeah, stop video and mute your mic. And
Okay.
then and you are, let me see.
I think she said I'm like number 5
Yeah,
or
right after Alyssa. Okay. And so when Jackie starts your introduction, you can go ahead and unmute yourself then and turn your camera on. But until then, go ahead and mute yourself and turn your camera off.
okay.
Okay?
Yes. Should I do that now?
Yeah, go ahead and do it now because we're going to, just in case if anyone logs in early, I'll have it set up and open.
Okay.
So Lisa.
Elisa, sorry. Sorry, Lisa. No, I'm glad you did. Hello. Hello, good evening. Welcome to PennFuture's 2021 Women in Conservation event. I'm Travis DiNicola, the Director of Development for PennFuture, and we are broadcasting live from the Sordona Art Gallery on the Wilkes campus, and we're glad to have you joining us tonight. Just a couple of notes that I wanted to say before we get everything going, is we are so proud to be honoring these amazing women tonight from Northeastern PA and the Lehigh Valley. And we're thrilled that they are actually here in person, even though you cannot meet. But thank you for joining us this evening virtually. And we hope that next year we can all meet in person. I do hope that you're enjoying your PennFuture swag bag that you should have received in the mail. If you bought your ticket just in the past few days, you may not have received it yet, but it is in the mail. One thing that I do want to mention is these bright green bandanas. They are actually cooling bandanas, which means a couple people asked about this. You can actually dip them in water and then wear them around your neck or around your head when you're out hiking. And not only will it prevent you from getting shot by a hunter, but it will keep you cool. So just wanted to explain how those work. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce you to our president and CEO, Jackie Bonoma. Jackie?
Well, thank you, Travis, very much. And I also want to extend my thanks to all of you for being with us tonight online and for a very lucky few in person tonight to support PennFuture and these 11 terrific women. PennFuture is Pennsylvania's watchdog for clean air, pure water, and a healthy climate, with the support of many people, including those of you. We're protecting our air, our water, our land, and empowering citizens to build sustainable communities for future generations. I want to acknowledge a few PennFuture board members who are participating tonight. Ann Foster, Joyce Marin, Sue Rossler, Tika Conwalker, Cecily Kin, John Banco, and Diane Davey, who's also one of tonight's honorees. And also joining us tonight are members of our President's Leadership Council, past and present honorees, of course, and partner organizations are also participating. So thank you again for being here. And I, like Travis, hope that next year we can meet together in person. And of course, a big shout out to the planning committee, staff for this event, Travis DiNicola and Suzanne Whitehead, who's behind the scenes in Jenkintown doing the technology magic tonight. The 2021 Celebrating Women in Conservation Awards are designed to encourage continued excellence in conservation and to forge a stronger network of exceptional women working to protect Pennsylvania's environment. This year's award recipients represent the talent and commitment among the women in Northeastern Pennsylvania, the Poconos, and Lehigh Valley. Since its inception in 2015, this event has traveled around the state to different regions to ensure recognition of leaders at the local level, volunteers, career professionals. We're so very pleased to bring the 2021 event to a place in our state that's really important to me. This is where I grew up, where I got my start as an environmental advocate 36 years ago, and where I'm currently living. I also want to thank all of our sponsors for tonight's event. Thank you to all of our sponsors for caring about our environment and the impact that these amazing women are making on their communities. So thanks to Next Era Energy Resources, Elephant Energy, the Foundation for Pennsylvania Watersheds, Clifton Larson Allen, Mary Duzel, the National Wildlife Federation, Santarelli, the Bridgewater Riding Club, Hotel Fauché, and Carlton Farms. Let's please thank all of them. Thanks and congratulations to all the friends, colleagues, and family members of tonight's honorees who logged on or have showed up in person to be part of this special evening. Now, on to the awards. The 11 women that we're honoring tonight are truly extraordinary and powerful. They're activists and educators, they're creative and tenacious. They are all leaders, and they inspire all of us to do more to protect Pennsylvania's precious environment. It's my privilege to acknowledge and congratulate them tonight. The first award of the night is the Young Woman of Conservation Leadership. This award honors an upcoming leader in the environmental movement. Her environmental stewardship efforts shine through her work or studies in the environmental fields, including being an advocate for ensuring diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice become a greater focus in the movement, making her a leader among her peers. Because of young leaders like her, there's a bright future for continuing conservation work in Pennsylvania. This woman must be 21 years of age or younger. So tonight, we give the award to Hannah Burke. Hannah is a senior at Blue Mountain Area High School. She's CEO of Best Buds All Natural Gardening, a conservation business she founded in 2017. The Schuylkill Haven Community Garden Manager and Vice President of the Schuylkill County 4-H Teen Council, among many other activities. Congratulations, Hannah.
Good evening. I'm honored and grateful to be named the Young Women in Conservation Leadership. Standing here today, I feel very fortunate to be recognized for all the work I do in the conservation of the environmental field. As a woman who self-receive recognition that first off, I want to start by thanking Manny Fitzpatrick for his good kindness and survey Water Spark nominated. A big shout out goes to my advisors, Mr. Metzger, Mrs. Fryer, Dr. Bicker. I'd also like to thank my stars for support. Mary Dumas, Suzanne Williams, Sophie Jones, Darcy Minica, Laura Field, Kim Lear, Morris, Lindsay Meany, Lisa Podowski, Jamie Watkins, and Shirley. Additionally, I would like to thank Amanda Rios of the Jefferson Range and G County. I would also like to thank Brianna Lovendale, my 4-H educator, for working with me patiently on my 4-H career. Additionally, a big thanks to everyone who helps in the community garden. Evan Strucking Company, David Knoll, Kathleen Schubert, Sarah Krause, Jennifer Stevens, Shona McCartney, Linda Wadowski, Jordan McCartney. The biggest thanks of all is to my kids, especially my mom, who drive me everywhere on this day. A big thank you to my sister Alexis, who first made this my friends. Lastly, PennFuture for getting this award. I would not be where I am today without support, time, and help with everyone that I mentioned. There are plenty of people that I haven't mentioned that champion me throughout my career. Thank you all for your support.
Congratulations, Anna. Our next award goes to the Woman of Environmental Arts. This award recognizes an individual who has creatively used the arts to bring awareness to or to actively address environmental issues. Her work can include, but is not limited to, visual arts, music, poetry, fiction, theater, dance, as well as the curation or promotion of such arts in Pennsylvania. This year, the award goes to Kelly Finnan. Kelly is a science illustrator and designer. Her clients include the Children's Discovery Museum, Green Oceans International, Frost Museum of Science, Harvard University, the National Aquarium in Baltimore, Nature Conservancy, Northeast Wilderness Trust, and Yosemite National Park. Congratulations, Kelly.
I'm receiving the Woman of Environmental Arts Award. I want to start by sharing with you the piece of art that's had the greatest impact on my life. It's a webcomic called On a Plate by Toby Morris. I'm just going to show you a little summary. You can find the whole thing online. Okay, excellent. All right, cool. So the story is about two kids, Richard and Paul. They both have parents that love them. The Richards have time to help with homework, but Paul's have multiple jobs.
We're going to stop for just a second. We apologize. We didn't realize that the mics weren't working quite as well, so that just take a moment to readjust. And Kelly will have it back here in just a second. Okay. I apologize to the people at home that if you haven't been able to hear, there's a rainstorm outside that made it a little loud inside here. I think we should be able to hear a little bit better now, and we'll have Kelly back up here right now.
All right, so.
Yeah, if you want to just hold the mic. You can
Okay,
go right
sure.
ahead.
Yeah, okay. How's that?
Better, thank you.
Okay, awesome. So back to the piece of art that's influenced my life. It's called On a Plate by Toby Morris. It's just a little summary. So the story's about two kids, Richard and Paula. They both have parents that love them. The Richards have time to help with homework. The Paulas have to work multiple jobs, so they don't have as much time. Richard goes to a good school with teachers that are paid fairly and have reasonable class sizes. Paula's teachers are underpaid and because of this, Richard gets good grades and maybe a scholarship, and his parents pay for his college degree. But Paula has to work away from community college. Paula's grades aren't as good because she has all these other responsibilities in her life. And Richard gets things like loans and a nice job, but Paula has to be trying to prove herself. And Richard gets an award or a promotion or something. Someone asks him about the secret to his success, and he says nothing is being handed to him. Basically, he's had a lifetime of small advantages, but because they were small, he didn't even notice them. So, back to my life. I don't live a conspicuously glamorous life. In fact, I live in a basement right now. But when I read this comic, I started to become aware of just how much privilege I've always had. And I want to be really explicit about this. First, my parents. I had parents who recognized my interests early and were able to send me to art and science summer programs. They made themselves available to help me after school and to show me around. They paid for my living expenses during college for my science illustration certificate. Thanks to them, I started my business with no debt. My dad let me live with him to keep my expenses down, and my aunt helped me set up a retirement. My business is born in that incubator that they built for me. I had teachers in high school, college, and grad school who took an interest in me. And put in extra hours to help me succeed. I had, and I still have, friends, family, and a partner who cheer me on and who advocate for my business. I have friends who have become clients, and clients who have become friends. I even have a local organization like PennFuture that recognizes and lifts up women like me. So, here I sit on my pedestal of privilege as a white, middle-class business owner, middle-class award-winning business owner. And I've noticed that from up here, I can get away with doing some pretty cool and weird stuff in the name of protecting the environment. Here are some examples. I can choose illustration projects at work that match my environmental values. By the way, come see me at the after party if you want to see what I'm working on. I can reduce consumerism and waste by wearing my clothes into the ground before buying new ones, or shop for used clothing without people assuming that I'm poor. I can be that annoying person in a restaurant asking whether or not the seafood is sustainable. I can stop mowing my lawn and let it become wild pollinator habitat without people labeling me as lazy or trashy. I can spend the extra dollar to support local sustainable products. I can reduce food waste by taking unopened food from grocery store dumpsters. I can do this without fear of being shot by the police. I I can stand between a chainsaw crew and a future fossil fuel pipeline corridor, also without being shot by the police. I can try to protect the future of the planet for those who are not in a position of privilege like I am. I want to thank everyone here for buying a ticket to this event, for supporting PennFuture, because you're an example of using privilege for good. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. The next award goes to the Woman of Environmental Media, Marketing, and Communications. This award honors an individual who has established himself as a credible source for presenting the public with information about climate, water, issues, environmental stories, and conservation-related current events. This woman can be a reporter, blogger, a campaign organizer, an NGO communications employee, or a communications and social media volunteer. This year, the award goes to Meg McGuire. Meg is the founder and publisher of Delaware Currents, an online news project dedicated to telling the story of the Delaware River from its headwaters to where it meets the ocean. Meg has been a journalist for 30 years and has adapted to what she calls the tectonic changes in her transitions along the way to present us critical information on issues of great import to all of us. Meg is also a regular guest on WJFF's program, Making Waves. Congratulations, Meg.
Actually, I do know some of your faces, but I look forward to getting to know more of you. You are the stories that I cover. You are the people who we can trust to lead us into a better future. So thank you for your work. But I'm going to delve into a slightly different subject today. It's not really about the environment. I want to talk to you about my project, Delaware Currents. These are the blue wavy lines. Some people, when I go to conferences, they don't know my name, but they say, "Oh, you're blue wavy lines." What is Delaware Currents, and perhaps why is it?
Put the microphone really close to you. You can take it. Okay, sorry, we're just getting lots of complaints about people not being able to hear
Okay, is
voice.
that better?
Yes, please.
Okay. As most of you know, the old time, like maybe 15 years ago, the journalism ecosystem back then was way more robust than it is today. Through the constant eroding of resources for all sorts of newsrooms, print, radio, and TV, all of that eroding began well before that. In 1998, before the first round of buyouts at my old newsroom, the Times Herald Record, where I was managing editor, the newsroom census was about 130 FTEs. Now, after repeated buyouts, layoffs, consolidations, maybe there are 10 people in that newsroom trying to keep it from 130 people. That newspaper is very different. Most of our newspapers are very different. Coverage of everything has shrunk. Blame the shift of ad dollars from newspapers, etc., to online. Blame the so-called free news we get via social media. But of course, this vein of news runs from something your aunt told your sister's friend, which is online, to the famous blogger in his PJs in the basement. Blame news organizations like the one I was part of that didn't plow the profits they were making from the good years into making the news universe more resilient to those tectonic changes. Simply put, the money isn't there to keep newsrooms running and make profit. Newspapers have been particularly hard hit. And what might be worse, in the past 50 years, more than 1/4 of the country's newspapers have disappeared, leaving residents in thousands of communities, inner city neighborhoods, suburban towns, and rural villages living in what we now know as vast news deserts. A news desert is where you can't get news about your local community. In that time, we have lost through closures and consolidation 2,100 newspapers. That includes media. Is it any wonder that absurd notions can take root? We go online and find dubious news sources that tell us what we want to hear and ridicule those who don't. And this goes for the right and the left, I would say. After I was riffed, the euphemism reduction in force, which meant I came in one day to find out that all the managing editors at all the newspaper chain that I worked for were let go. I spent some time being angry and depressed. I had a choice to make. Curse the darkness or light my own small candle. I started looking for a place to continue journalism and discovered that there were few, if any, full-time environmental reporters telling the story of this vital river events. I mused. How about I do that reporting? At first I thought, oh, I'll be a freelancer. But I was encouraged and entered this relatively new field of entrepreneurial online journalism, making a small business of reporting. Like you, I was familiar with online news, what we call legacy newsrooms like the New York Times and WHYY. Even my old newspaper had an online presence. But to tackle that on my own, how much fun for punishment am I? Apparently a lot, because that's what I did. So over the past 6 years, I've learned a lot about this amazing river, thanks to people all over the watershed who are kind enough to educate me. Also, much less than, I've learned what it means to run a standalone, independent, online news site. I now take care of the site's technology. That's my function. I take care of the site's social media. That's my circulation. And the money that makes it all happen, just like NPR, donations, subscriptions, and grants. Lots of people I meet are confused about what I do. Mostly I get good feedback about the stories I write, but many people call Delaware Currents a blog, and that makes me wince. Blogs are fine, but blogs are usually full of one person's opinion. Delaware Currents strives hard to be a journalism site devoted to getting the facts of a story. One way to tell I'm legit is that I'm a member of 3 ethical journalism associations: the Society for Environmental Journalists, the local Independent Online News Publishers Association, and the Institute for Nonprofit News. Delaware Currents is nonprofit. Boy, is it ever nonprofit. And to be honest, this award is another way to prove I'm legit. So a huge thank you for it. And thank you to PennFuture and to all you fabulous women honored tonight for all the great work you do.
Well, thank you, Meg, and congratulations. It is a really important piece of journalism, and I encourage everyone here, if you're not already subscribed to Delaware Currents, please do that. You'll be very, very well informed. I'm happy to report to folks watching us online and actually here in the room that it seems like the rain has subsided. We had a rainstorm that was causing a lot of noise on the roof of the gallery, and we apologize again for Mother Nature doing her thing in the age of climate change. Our next award recognizes the Woman of the Watershed. It honors an individual who's made a positive impact on water quality in her watershed. Her water quality work can include, but is not limited to, wildlife impacts, macroinvertebrates, land protection, stream buffers, bank rehabilitation, agriculture, water quality studies, and environmental policy. This year, we are honoring Alyssa Garofalo. Alyssa is the Executive Director for the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor and a Board of Directors member of the Alliance of Natural Heritage Areas. Congratulations, Alyssa.
you all for this award. I have great appreciation. This part, starting the slide.
Yes.
Oh. I have great appreciation for everything that has brought me to this point in my career. I recently retired, and as you'll find out, but my path in my career has taken me a full connection between man and the environment and relationships and how they can improve. This began at Penn State and ultimately impacted Eastern Pennsylvania in 5 counties, including Luzerne County, going down to Bucks County. And it has improved boroughs, cities, counties, regional, state, and federal assets in about 140 communities. And this has all been done by public and private partnerships. So what I've been able to do, it all started at Penn State. And, you know, if I thought that I'd be saying that today, 40 years ago, I would have laughed. But in reality, it is from Penn State, Demand Environmental Relations, and it is from my first excellent planning opportunity to work with the works of Ventura Rout and Scott Brown out of Philadelphia. And this is an organization that did the very earliest Main Street planning in communities. And it's a wide-ranging approach that has a great outcome into this decade and century that started in the 80s. All of it has been located along our rivers, the Susquehanna, the Lehigh, and the Delaware, and all of these communities. And as a result, things could have looked a whole lot different. So what I'd like to do is to highlight things that happened, the outcomes that happened in those 5 counties that were attached to my work, either through a local municipality, a personal citizen volunteer, or my work with the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor. In Luzerne County here, one of our, the earliest projects was to interpret the Susquehanna River down at the signs that you will see as you hike the path down along the river. It tells the stories of the flooding and communities and the like. It also guides you from the city to the river to connect with that, with Susquehanna. But my personal, my most favorite and my personal and most favorite project was the Whitehaven Area Community Library. This is a former Lehigh Valley Railroad house that was used primarily for the railroad back in the day, and today it is one of the most amazing local libraries. And this all started with some planning direction that came out of my office. In Carbon County, the Main Street project that I started working on in '81 is certainly a highlight. The old Monchuk National Historic District in Chickaport. But a couple of years ago, there was the Mansion House Bridge that was constructed through our projects, and something that was in the plan for Delaware and Lehigh. It's written some 30 years ago. And now the County of Carbon has a fully maintained and fully connected trail from north to south, taking it from the whole region to the Lehigh Valley, and that is the result of the work that I have done. In Lehigh County, it's the one county that totally maintains its portion. It built it, and then it maintains the D&L trail, especially the Slavington section that has been built and maintained left that island with a fully operational section of the Lehigh Canal running and owned by the city. But it is the Delaware and Lehigh that has been able to continue to maintain it and also to welcome the public to a drawn canal and connected to a section of the Delaware Canal. And finally, in Bucks County, there is the Delaware Canal State Park. It is a nationally recognized, it's maybe the very most expensive state park that the state manages, but it is done very fine way. And they also were able to build a tunnel that goes under two different railroads, and so that trail that can continue on down to Bristol. So, you know, reconnecting people to the outdoors, and that's really what this is all about, because if people do not understand how special this area, this industrial area, whether it was, but no matter what the end industry was, if it was taking something out of the earth, if it was building something, if it was highways. Impressive impact has occurred, improving the water quality, the economic development, preservation, which is always my favorite, so preservation, and sensitivity to what it is in people's backyards. So, you know, in closing, you know, no 2 days of my career have been alike. To the left, you see that's either Hank or George. I can't tell you because I don't see the dent in his ear. But the outcomes and the approaches have been creative but mostly functional, and have helped these communities to come back, and it continues to this day. This gives us the opportunity to introduce Hank and George to the public, who are associated with a fully functional Josiah White II Canal Boat and the National Canal Museum in Easton. Also, the complicated connection in Lower Bucks County with the railroads that you see on the photo in the center. Hence, I want to sincerely thank all the supporters from all aspects of my 40-year career who have joined us tonight. And you saw quite the list at the start, and especially by my nominator, Sean Robbins, who joined us tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Alyssa, and congratulations. And thank you too for being part of what made the DNL Trail a reality. It really shows off the best of this region. And if folks who are with us tonight have never ridden that trail, I highly recommend it. It's just beautiful. Next, we'll recognize our Woman of Environmental Justice. This award honors an individual who has devoted her time and energy to defending Black, Indigenous, and other people of color and people living in lower income areas who have been the most disproportionately and negatively impacted people from pollution. This individual has proven to be a voice for those who may not otherwise be heard, and she actively advocates for environmental laws and policies to improve the lives of others in Pennsylvania. This year, the award goes to Rashida Lovely. Rashida created the Science in the Summer programs for underprivileged families and promotes teaching Black and brown and underserved communities how to value the environment by incorporating daily resources saving practices. I want to congratulate Rashida, and we are going to we're going to patch her in by the internet. So Rashida, over to you.
Hi, I'm Rashida Lovely, and I wanted to say thank you first to PennFuture for nominating me for this award. I feel very appreciative, and I also feel very valued for the work that I do. And I also want to say congratulations to all the women who received an award before me and the ones who will receive awards after me. I am very grateful to learn about all the hard work you have put into the environmental space, and I would really love to learn more about you in the background, obviously, and to network because I really believe that this work is very important. So thank you to all the women for the work that you do, and thank you so much, PennFuture. I'd also like to say I truly feel that we cannot compartmentalize environmental work. So when I say that, I believe that we should try and shift and make it a cultural thing or a part of our culture. So my focus is to teach children how to have everyday practices that help with the environment. So when they grow up, they're already accustomed to engaging in caring for their environment. And this way, it makes it a lot easier for them to transition into fighting for the environment. So these are the things that I think is very important, and this is the space in which I work. And I'd also like to say that I will continue to do this work as long as I humanly can. And I hope to bring those same children along to help me in that fight in years to come. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the award.
Congratulations, Rashida. We wish you were with us tonight. Next, we recognize this award honors an individual who is dedicated to addressing climate impacts or championing renewable energy efforts. This woman can be active in communities, business, government, and science fields. With her skills, this woman has blazed a new trail toward a cleaner, more sustainable energy future for Pennsylvania. This year, we honor a special friend of mine and PennFuture's, our board member, Diana Dakey of Dalton, Pennsylvania. Diana does so much. She is a tenacious volunteer and advocate for the environment and champion of through her involvements with Protect Northern PA, the League of Women Voters of Lackawanna County, Open Primaries PA Coalition, and Fair Districts PA, as well as PennFuture. Congratulations, Diana.
I'm so happy to be at this occasion to make.
As people can hear you. I want to make sure people can hear you.
I'm so happy to be at this occasion to make new friends and see some former acquaintances. I have followed this event from PennFuture for its past 6 years. We're now in the 7th facts straight. And I've seen at the Compass remarkable people whose work has been inspirational. Their work leaves me deeply humbled to be an award recipient among them. Thank you, Jackie and Travis and Suzanne, you're out there somewhere, for all of your efforts to bring this event together this year and past years. Some of you know of my work with Protect Northern PA. We came together a year and a half ago after learning that a developer intended to build a liquefied natural gas plant in Bradford County and send daily over 350 tanker trucks on an approximately 200-mile route from Pennsylvania to the Delaware River to load this LNG on ships for export. And our concerned citizens deliberated about what we were about. Exactly what was the problem that we so viscerally sensed? We came up with the name Protect Northern PA and the byline protecting our communities from fracked gas industrialization. So let me explain. Fracking took off in Pennsylvania around 2010 as well.
to the ease of fracking and its enabling by lax or absent regulations, the industry found itself in a domestic oversupply situation by 2016. That drove the gas export business. So we are in the midst of a gas industry rush to lock in new foreign markets for Pennsylvania gas before the winds of change turn carbon fuel power into the past, as we hope. I want to this evening acknowledge the fine coverage that we've received in Delaware Currents. There's Meg McGuire's publication, and Chris Bailey, the reporter, he's in the back of the room also. So thank you so much. If you need to read up on this project, you go to Delaware Currents. So take this particular project in Bradford County. In the gas producing counties, it will stimulate more fracking and legacy pollution, the subject of many recent reports. The plant itself marks a beautiful natural area along the Susquehanna River. Communities along the Hallway will incur the dire safety hazards of LNG transport, and all object to the uncomfortable knowledge that gas infrastructure projects in the United States contribute to carbon power lock-in around the world. So you're now wondering why such a project is going forward. It's easy. Just one so-called host municipality needs to pivot zoning, and DE permits are very locally and narrowly focused. The larger market is not engaged in a conversation about who benefits and who shoulders the risks of an extractive export industry. This is a problem we recognize in particular in the VA as we make an effort to find out what is going on in the larger public. So do we worry and feel helpless in the face of destructive projects, or do we immerse ourselves and find out the facts and chart the future we want? I want to, on our website, please go to technorva.org, and you'll see the fine artwork of Brian Keeler, a national and international artist. And you'll see in his artwork what we must not lose. I also want to thank Brooke Lenker at the Fact Tracker Alliance, Tracy Maruccio and the Delaware Riverkeeping Network, PennFuture and their partner organizations, including Sierra Club and Clean Air Council, and many committed local individuals for the ongoing support, and of course, my husband, Alan Davey. Thank you all, and thank you. I'm particularly honored to receive this award. Thank you.
Thank you again, Diana, for your wonderful advocacy. Tonight's next award recognizes the woman of environmental education. The award honors an individual who's dedicated herself to educating her community about sustainability and environmental policy. She's admired in her community for her passionate commitment to environmental awareness and to educating students and the public. This year, the award goes to Jessica Nolan. She's professor of conservation psychology and director of environmental studies concentration at the University of Scranton. And she is also founder of Green Dream Scranton. Congratulations, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Jackie, and thank you so much to PennFuture for this wonderful award. I'm honored to have been selected as the 2021 Woman of Environmental Education. And honestly, listening to the accomplishments of all the other women that have gone before me, I'm also really humble. I also want to thank Bernie McGurl of the Lackawanna River Conservation Association, and Mr. Mark Murphy, Director of Sustainability at the University of Scranton, for supporting my nomination. Alyssa referred earlier to the idea of teaching a love for nature, and I think that noted Senegalese forestry engineer, Baba Dion, really has captures that idea really well. He says, in the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand. And we will understand only what we love. So I want to start at the beginning by thanking my family for cultivating a love of nature in me. Even though we lived in the Bronx, so basically a concrete jungle, some of my most cherished memories are being out exploring nearby nature with my parents, my grandmother, my cousins who are here tonight celebrating with me. Thank you. We were hiking, we were swimming, and often at this time of year, we were looking at this. So as a result of these family excursions, I came to love nature, and I chose to dedicate my career to protecting it. And I'm so grateful that for the past 20 years, I've had the great privilege of kindling this love and concern for the environment in both children and adults. My work as an environmental educator began with the 4-H program that Hannah referred to earlier. So working with young kids and then also with kids in New York City, teaching them about sustainability and going to Central Park to identify birds and trees. And so finding ways to kindle that love for nature. After graduating from college, I worked as a recycling outreach and education specialist in Cambridge, Massachusetts. And it was at that time that I began to really think about environmental problems as problems of human behavior. And that's when I decided to go back to graduate school to pursue psychology, right, which is the scientific study of human behavior. So since graduating with my PhD, my focus as an educator has been on understanding how to use the tools and principles of psychology to understand and solve environmental problems, to share those tools with practitioners. How can we get households to conserve energy or to be concerned about fracking in their community? How can we motivate individuals to support the great legislative work that PennFuture does? Conservation psychology can provide helpful answers. I'm grateful to my academic mentors, Dr. Wes Schultz at Cal State San Marcos and Dr. Barb Muth at Cornell, for guiding me in my understanding of how research can also be a tool for solving real-world problems. And that as academics, we have an obligation to share the findings that we get from our research with practitioners, like many of the people in the room today, who are best positioned to use them for good. And last but not least, I would like to thank my children, who I think are also listening if their attention span hasn't faded. Jaden and Kira, and my husband Kenny. Jaden and Kira, you strengthened my resolve to fight for a better future for all children on this planet. And Kenny, you provided the unwavering support that makes this work possible. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all the awardees.
Thank you, Jessica, and congratulations. Before we move on to Lifetime Achievement Awards, I did just want to share with those of you that are watching online. This is the award that our honorees are receiving tonight. It's beautifully hand scripted and hand illustrated, recognizing their accomplishments. So we're pleased to be able to provide this to you in recognition of your great work. And now for the last group of awardees for the evening for Lifetime Achievement. This award celebrates the lifetime accomplishments of these remarkable women who have made a difference by devoting significant parts of their lives to protecting and enhancing the region's natural greatness through their tireless dedication to environmental advocacy and justice. This year, we'll be celebrating 3 women with this award, in addition to giving out our first ever posthumous award for Lifetime Achievement. The first woman we're honoring tonight with the Woman of Lifetime Achievement Award is Marion Keegan. Marion is the president of Great Towers Heritage Association, director of Community Conservation and Hemlock Farms Community Association, lead formation for Open Source Water Protection Collaborative. She's also a writer and co-author Standards of Forestry Practices in Pennsylvania, contributing author of Deer Management for Forest Landowners and Managers. Marion is a graduate of Duke University School of the Environment, and we're just pleased to honor her work tonight. Marion.
I rise to the occasion.
This evening, I am with a community of esteemed women. Our accomplishments for ourselves, families, associations, neighborhoods, villages, and cities, our forests, wildlife, waters, and planet shine brightly. Our sense of urgency propels us forward, often in resistance yet fueled by the power of shared values. My heartfelt gratitude extends to PennFuture and all our sponsors, affiliates, partners, coalitions, and collaborators for the award. I am personally grateful for the support of Sean Struve of Hotel for Share in Milford, Pennsylvania, Jackie Bonomo and Marie Killian, and my nominators, Great Towers Heritage Association, the Allegheny Society of American Foresters, Harold Commando and Georgine Snyder of Hemlock Farms, Sally Schwartz of Friends of Marion Keegan, One Vote at a Time, and Dr. David D. Colesto. Let's breathe and feel immensely satisfied that together our excellent work helped create a better present and brighter future. My work began in molecular genetics, which has relevance today as we strive to stay safe in a pandemic. Understanding genes opens amazing discoveries to cure diseases. The basic research in my lab led to many practical advances, such as over-the-counter pregnancy tests. After 2 years of research, though, I realized I wanted to work with nature, not test tubes. I searched for graduate programs and found a profession called forestry. Growing trees to supply a market sparked my imagination and sense of duty. Over my career, I've journeyed hundreds of thousands of acres, tens of thousands of miles, which activated a grand adventure. Much of my work happened in Pennsylvania, where I was born and raised. I matured professionally as a forester and natural resource practitioner. While I have achieved expert status by many standards, I remain in awe of nature and dedicated, ever determined to protect what it is and has to offer. Forestry intersects with many fields: ecology, botany, chemistry, genetics, geology, economics, the law, wildlife biology, management, communications, environmentalism, finance, conservation. Wait, did I say finance? Investing money in managing forests has long-term consequences because what we do today affects centuries. This long-term perspective is foundational to valuing all costs in all markets. Disclosing environmental, social, and governance informs decision-making. We are champions of conservation, and our decisions sustain people, planet, and wildlife, and profits. I've been a woman in the workplace for half a century. At times, it was a struggle. My efforts enhance the path for others so that important work of restoring, protecting, and conserving nature is sustained. Whether you are a seasoned leader or young leader, educator, manager, communicator, artist, advocate, or litigator for justice or governance, defender of waters, or warrior to cool our hot earth, we are the makers of change for better lives. I've shown the need for conservationists. Now I campaign for election to the Pennsylvania General Assembly to serve and protect people. With delight, I celebrate our collective wisdom and gratefully accept the honor bestowed for a lifetime of achievement in conservation.
Congratulations, Marion. The The next woman we're honoring tonight with the Woman of Lifetime Achievement Award is Dr. Laurie Goodrich. Laurie leads Hop Mountain Sanctuary's local to globe research and is professional training program as its Sarkis Acopian Director of Conservation Science. Laurie co-published Hop Mountain's first scientific paper on raptor migration trends, co-wrote the Hop Mountain Land Management Plan, and helped to develop the nationally award-winning Raptor Population Index project. She helped establish the first raptor migration monitoring and conservation site in Mexico, which records more than 4 million migratory hawks each autumn. In addition to being a world-class scientist, I know Dr. Goodrich to be a terrific communicator, a leader, an advocate for the conservation of raptors and other birds, and we are lucky to have her stewarding Hop Mountain Sanctuary. Dr. Goodrich.
Thank you. Okay.
Speak up a bit more.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you to PennFuture for selecting me for this amazing honor. I'm humbled to be recognized tonight with all these other incredible women that I see before me. I also would like to thank the people that nominated my Hawk Mountain family to have them think that I deserve this award. This means quite a bit to me. Next slide. I have spent my career to date at a very special place in Pennsylvania, Hawk Mountain Sanctuary, located on the Kittatinny Ridge of eastern Pennsylvania. Indeed, I probably would not be at the ceremony tonight if I had not landed on this mountaintop. It's a very inspiring place, an amazing mission, and lots of wonderful people worked there over the years that I've been there. So I want to share my award today and going forward with all the staff, board trainees, and volunteers who I've worked with over the years. Hawk Mountain, next slide. Hawk Mountain was founded by a great woman conservationist. It has a history of celebrating and supporting women in conservation. Mrs. Rosalie Edge came to Pennsylvania as a 58-year-old New York City woman with a determination to change how we treat raptors in the world. And she did that by forming this nonprofit sanctuary in 1934 called Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. She and others worked very hard, took decades to get the raptors protected by law, and she did this at a time when women were expected to remain silent and raptors were supposed to be exterminated. So her story inspires me and others today. Hawk Mountain, next slide, has always had a group of hardworking men and women conservationists on its staff. I'd like to recognize some of the people that I've worked with over the years, in particular Cynthia Lenhart, who was the executive director during the 1990s and 2000s, and some of the other staff and volunteers that I've worked with to conserve raptors more recently. In particular, I would just like to mention Hawk Mountain's amazing trainee program, where we welcomed 450 young people from all over the world to come to Hawk Mountain to work with us for several months. More than half of these have been young women who have gone back to their countries to face enormous odds to do good for raptors and other birds. On the slide, in the slide on the far left is a young woman, Estar Vallejos from Colombia, who came to us in 2019, has now gone back to her country to help stop shooting of hawks by starting a nonprofit organization, just like Rosalie Edge did years ago. Next slide. And finally, I would just like to thank all the people that work at Hawk Mountain currently, but also who have worked there in the past in education, science, and stewardship. This group of people, I feel lucky to call my colleagues, and we all work hard day after day for this mission. Next slide. Finally, I just would like to thank my family, particularly my mother, and my many friends for their support over the years. And thank you again to PennFuture for giving me this honor. Thank you.
Congratulations, Laurie. The third woman we are honoring tonight with the Woman of Lifetime Achievement and Conservation Award is Heidi Secor. Heidi is the state president and board of Pennsylvania Farmers Union, board member of the National Farmers Union, former board member for the Pennsylvania State Council of Farm Organizations, PASA Sustainable Agriculture, and Monroe County Conservation District, and owner-operator of Joseph Porter Farm. She was recently nominated for the State Conservation Commission by Secretary of Agriculture, Russell Redding. Congratulations, Heidi.
I'm going to try this like everyone to make sure everyone can hear me. I just want to say I'm so grateful and honored to be standing up here and be in the same room as so many amazing women. We've all dedicated our lives to incredible work, and I'm honored. It is a little jarring at 51 to be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award. Not sure what PennFuture is telling me, but I do have a lot more years in me to make an impact. I do want to recognize the amazing work of PennFuture in recognizing a farmer, and that farmers are part of the solution to climate change through regenerative agriculture. This is happening on farms throughout Pennsylvania and the Commonwealth. Organizations are doing this work. PASA, Sustainable Agriculture, Pennsylvania Farmers Union. There's so many organizations here in Pennsylvania that are mitigating and tracking how farms are mitigating the effects of climate change. On our own farm, the Josie Porter Farm in Monroe County in Stroudsburg, with the support of our CSA community and our farm store members, we together are educating consumers, not just the importance of where their food comes from, but the importance of regenerative agriculture to the ecosystem. As an example, in 2012, we held a bio blitz at our farm. It's a 24 hours with numerous local scientists and national scientists who came to our farm and identified over 1,000 species on our property. And this is an incredible indication of what a sustainable farm without the use of chemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides, and just the importance of that work that we're doing. And still, there were species that were missed, I know, because they did not include the turkey. That was seen the day before. In the 26 years that I've devoted to agriculture, each endeavor in my career has launched me into new and challenging roles and leadership opportunities. From Rodale to PASA, to Pennsylvania Farmers Union, National Farmers Union, to my newest role, where I've been appointed by the governor to the State Conservation Commission. Each organization has a role in the conservation community, but nearest and dearest to me is the policy and advocacy work of farmers, both here in Pennsylvania and at the national level. NFU, National Farmers Union, is one of the very few national ag organizations that recognize climate change as a real issue, and that how we farm is important. In fact, farmers help to mitigate the effects of climate change by putting carbon back into the soil through regenerative practices. I want to thank so many other women leaders in agriculture for their support. Anna Smith from PASA, Judy Wicks from All Together Now and the White Dog Cafe, Heidi Whitmer from LEAF, and my nominators for this award. But most importantly, I want to be thankful to the amazing support of my family, my husband, my parents, And happy birthday, Dad. My friends, my farm crew, and members like PennFuture's Abby Jones. She's one of our CSA members, and she really puts her money where her mouth is. They have dedicated time, energy to the success of our farm and to the success of me. Because without all of you, and I would not be standing here tonight. I'm grateful to PennFuture's recognition for the positive work that farmers do here in Pennsylvania, and look forward to seeing more women agricultural leaders up here accepting awards from PennFuture. I just want to end by Pennsylvania State Secretary of Russell Redding always reminds his audience that we are all part of the agricultural system. And Wendell Berry always states, eating is an agricultural act. And Heidi Secord stated in her TED Talk that every meal counts. So thank you, PennFuture, and thank you and congratulations to all of us together. Thank you.
I think Heidi just demonstrated why a 51-year-old woman was recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And finally tonight, our last award. This is a very special award. It's the first time that PennFuture was given a posthumous award recognizing a woman of lifetime achievement in conservation. We are very pleased to do so to honor the remarkable life of Louise Dunlap, who passed away earlier this year. Louise, who grew up in Lancaster, was a passionate environmentalist, known for her lifetime of advocating for the hard-hit communities affected by the harmful practices of the coal mining industry. She was a vital liaison between the Pennsylvania Abandoned Mine Land campaign here in the state, with legislators and staffers in Washington, D.C., where she lived with her spouse, Joe Browder. Louise helped pass the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act, and her efforts were praised by President Jimmy Carter when he signed the legislation into law. Louise worked to advance several reauthorizations of the Abandoned Mine Land Trust Fund and the Reclaim Act. Securing these funds has had a massive impact on the landscapes of the anthracite and other coal regions of the country, helping clean up land and water left in mining's wake. She helped found the Environmental Policy Center in 1972. She served on the boards of the League of Conservation Voters, the Water Fund, Scenic America, the Environmental Policy Institute, and the National Clean Air Coalition, while holding posts with the National Parks Conservation Association and Friends of the Earth. She's greatly missed by her friends and family. And tonight, remotely accepting this award on behalf of her family is her friend, John Dawes.
Thank you, Jackie. It's an honor and a privilege to participate in this event honoring Louise Dunlap. I've never met anyone as dogged and determined in her work, and yet so gracious and kind toward others. I met Louise in 2003 when the Foundation for Pennsylvania Watersheds had the responsibility to enhance funding to Pennsylvania for mine land reclamation. I'd been working on this issue from the Heinz endowments since the 1990s. And of course, Louise, was the driving force in getting coal mining regulated nationally, not just for Pennsylvania, through the Surface Mine Control Reclamation Act of 1977. We both shared an outrage at this war on nature that was the result of surface mining. Her help in reauthorization for collection of the fee from coal companies was invaluable. We were successful on December 9th, 2006, working primarily with the Pennsylvania delegation. When passage came at 3:30 a.m., Louise was present, and then she, of course, knowing her, called me 3:30 in the morning. What a worker. The comfort in her passing is that we, the Pennsylvania AML campaign, thanked her at a surprise luncheon with Joe at the Duquesne Club in Pittsburgh. And I speak for many of her colleagues, including Amy Erickson, Robert Hughes, Mike Hewitt, Ann Damon, Andy McAllister, Brandon Deal, Joe Pizarchek, my son John Dawes, and many others when I say that Louise Dunlap made us all better at our jobs. Now to Connie and Don, sister and brother-in-law, niece Louisa, nephew Sam, Louise spoke of you constantly. She was so proud of each of you, and we give you our condolences, knowing that we too feel the loss. The triumph of life is that she was able to be so effective and loving right up to the last week of her life. Thank you, PennFuture, for the recognition of a great champion for the environment.
Thank you, John. Everyone online and in the room, please join me in a round of applause to honor all of these incredible women. I want to thank you all, sponsors, board members, staff, friends, and family, and of course our honorees for coming together tonight to celebrate the amazing achievements of these women and the truly inspiring work they do to protect our environment. Before I go, I also want to thank you for your support of PennFuture. We can't do any of our work without you. As we see tonight with the accomplishments of these women, individually we all have a voice, but collectively we have impact. PennFuture amplifies your voice. Together, our voices are making a difference. Every one of you who is here tonight supports PennFuture's work, and I thank you for that. I hope you'll also consider making an additional contribution, either tonight or before the end of the year, to help us continue our work. You can always make a donation of any amount at pennfuture.org. And lastly, I want to invite all of you to attend our Women in Conservation after party, starting just a few minutes from now. You should have received an email with a link to the Zoom after party, which will allow you to visit all of our guests in their special breakout rooms, where you can congratulate them and chat with your friends. In case you didn't get the link, we'll put it up on the chat screen now so that you can copy it directly. I know all the women are looking forward to having a chance to interact with you during the party. So again, and until next year, I hope this event goes on for many years. Thank you for your support of PennFuture, and enjoy the rest of the